All right, y'all, what's going on? It's Combo Breaker 99 back with another video. All right, y'all, it's going down. UFC 312, first look. Now that it's official. Zhang Weili looking to make her third title defense against Tatiana Suarez in her first ever title fight. Man, it's crazy to say that, man. Like, wow, it's been a long time coming for Tatiana Suarez. So many bumps in the road, and now we're finally here, right? We kept asking ourselves, is this day going to come? Or is Tatiana going to leave the game without a title shot? But here we are now. We're finally here. Weili versus Suarez. This is what I've been waiting for. I know a lot of y'all been waiting for this, right? But it's official now. So first look. Weili, as y'all know, she's defended her belt against Amanda Lemos, Yan Xiaonan. So now she's looking to make her third title defense against a dangerous, undefeated Tatiana Suarez. Tatiana, she's been on that bumpy comeback road now. She defeated Montana De La Rosa at 125 and Jessica Andrade, who she finished. And since then, she was looking to get back in there with a good, solid fighter that was going to prepare her for a title shot like Amanda Lemos. But injury came up. That fight got canceled. That fight mutated into something else like Lemos versus Dern. And then they came back around to try to schedule Tatiana Suarez versus Verna Jandiroba, which is a fight I was looking forward to because that fight made a lot of sense. But they canceled that fight out of the blue. Verna fight was just out, and everybody was wondering what was up. Like, is Tatiana Suarez injured again? But now she started posting up like, I'm not injured, I'm still rolling. But she was not addressing the situation, right? So Verna, she starts jumping at a chance to fight Weili, but all the while, the UFC is just creating this whole thing behind the scenes without telling anybody. But I think we all knew, like, we were putting two and two together. Like, Weili had no other opponents. She was training. She already started camp. And Suarez is still rolling. She's still running drills. So I think we all knew what was going to happen here, right? Weili been out for a while. So they had to get the champion, somebody legit. And there was nobody else, right? She wasn't going to fight no Ibas. She wasn't going to fight Marina Rodriguez at this point or Tabitha Ricci. There was nobody else. So they had to do the right thing and say, all right, or the logical thing and say, okay, let's give her the number one contender now, right? Because we never know what type of situation Suarez has had. So we can't really cheat her out of a title shot at this point, with that undefeated record, right? So yeah, man, it's going down now. And I want to talk about this though, as far as my thoughts. I want to say, as excited as I am for this fight, I'm a little concerned for Tatiana Suarez. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little worried for her. Not in the same sense like I was Tyler Santos against Dakota Ditcheva, but for some of the same reasons, just not as heavy. Two of the reasons, they both involve the inactivity. All right. Number one, I would say I'm a little concerned is the lack of preparation. Of course he's training. I'm not talking about that preparation or mental preparation. I'm talking about the actual preparation as far as lack of fights to prepare her for a Zhang Weili. And this is something I've been talking about for a while now. Like, ever since the long layoff, the 4-year layoff, the game's been evolving. Even Weili's evolved a number of times. Rose Namajunas, she evolved. Even Mackenzie Dern's been evolving, right? So Verna Jandiroba, all those fighters have been evolving. So without that type of competition or that type of tune-up fight to prepare her for the title shot, I just think that she's going to be lacking a few things. She's going to be lacking that adversity. We all know, yeah, Tatiana's one of the best wrestlers. She's big, she's strong, she's faced a lot of different styles when she was coming up, but there's just been that period, that 4 or 5 year period where I feel like all the other girls, they were learning, they were taking L's and they were learning how to get better. The champion had to, the champion, Zhang Weili, when she first won the belt, everybody thought she was going to be unstoppable. Then she ran into Rose, right? She runs into Rose, it takes her back to school. She has to work on her defense. Then she loses the second time to Rose. She has to go back and work on her wrestling, right? So Suarez is kind of in that same position. Unfortunately, the injuries kept her out, so she wasn't really able to prepare like the McKenzies and Amanda Lemoses and Jans, like, and kind of learn from their mistakes, right? I know she's learning behind the scenes, she's working on her striking, her boxing. She was able to test it a little bit in the Jessica Andrade fight. But I still think there was that need for a fight like Mackenzie Dern or Verna, fight one of these big girls that has worked on their stand-up, kind of see how it is to face some of these girls that have heavy hands and they will push you and they will be sort of a submission threat to you. You know what I mean? Girls that are physically strong as well, something like that. Those are the type of fights that I feel like kind of take away from the preparation for, a two-time champion. This is her first title fight, right? Her first title fight against, the two-time champion Zhang Weili. So that's just one of my concerns. The second concern I know is what a lot of people are thinking about is the damage. You know what I mean? Like the damage from several injuries now. You got to wonder, like, how is she going to hold up? Like, what type of style is Suarez going to come with? Is she going to come as the Suarez are old and try to bully and maul? Will she have that strength? Those are some of the questions I have now. Like, can her chin hold up? Like, has she taken big shots in training? Like, has she taken big enough shots in fights to wonder to see how she reacts to a big right hand from Weili, right? When you look at somebody like Weili, she's been through it all. She's worked on a little bit and she's done in big fights. She's faced humility. She's fought Andrade, the Ioannas, the Roses, all of these fighters, several times, so that's just another one of my concerns is like the damage that she suffered from injuries, over the course of, 5-6 years now, in the later part of her career. So I'm a little concerned there. But when you match these two up, though, Weili is going to be tested too. Weili, she's going to be tested. We're going to see how far she's come, in her ability to adapt in a fight. We're going to see if she's kind of led by her ego to want to wrestle more. Because I know she said, if she fought Tatiana, she'd want to wrestle to test her wrestling, right? And that is the best way to test your wrestling, if you really want to see if your wrestling's great. But if you want to win, you're going to make certain adjustments and expose your dance partner's weaknesses, right? So for me, I think that Weili definitely has more than enough of a well-rounded game to go in here and pick however she wants to win. If it comes down to fighting a close quarters striking fight, dirty boxing, an outside fight, I think she has the speed, athleticism, the power, timing, all of that to kind of disrupt Tatiana Suarez, all because, she's just been more active and she's faced more adversity and she's just been in there with so many different styles, right? So I think she has more ways to win than Tatiana does. I'm just being real. I love Tatiana, but right now, with the way things have changed and the way the tides have turned, and they both gone these different paths, where Tatiana has kind of had a rougher path now. I just think that Tatiana has a lot against her in this fight. Had this been like 2018 or had Tatiana been active this whole time, I'd be rocking with Tatiana 100%, because that's one thing I always said. Tatiana beats Rose, Weili, Andrade. The only one I feel like she would have had trouble with is Joanna style-wise. But before, I would have definitely said Weili would have been out-muscled and mauled. But now, with the damage on Tatiana's side, I kind of think that Weili has more than one way to win. Now, Tatiana, of course, if she gets in the close quarters in this fight, she can make this thing physical. I still think that her wrestling is better. And the way she positions herself on the ground, she's going to be able to get control on Weili. Because if Rose could take Weili down and put her on her back, I definitely think Tatiana's not going to have any trouble at all if she's able to close that distance. Now, if, like I said, Weili chooses to box and maybe strike a little bit from the outside and kind of pick her opponent apart, she'll have that way to win. But if she gives in to her ego and she wants to wrestle and go one-on-one in a grappling match with Tatiana, I think that gives it to Tatiana all day. And with that, Tatiana won't need 5 rounds. Tatiana will not need 5 rounds against Weili. I can see Tatiana submitting Weili before Weili does. You know what I mean? Like, hey, Lemos almost got a submission off on her, right? See, the things like the mistakes that like Yan Xiaonan made against Weili almost got submitted. Tatiana's not going to be in there for that. She knows how to get a read on her opponent. Like, from a wrestler's perspective, she really does know how to position herself and get her own submissions and just be rough and tough. So I think, Suarez physically still has that strength. it just all depends on, like I said, like the inactivity and the injuries right now. So we'll see, y'all. But we'll talk more as we get closer to this one. We still got a little ways out, and I still need to go back and watch some more fights and just kind of compare what they both have looked like in their most recent fights and look at some weaknesses again. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of go ahead and drop a little first look here. Right now, like I said, if it was just like a matchup where I didn't have any worries with Tatiana, it's going to be, a great fight. It'll be a great fight in that sense. But just got those little concerns for Tatiana because you're looking at it a much, much, much more improved and smarter Weili than several years ago. So going to be a good fight, y'all. Let me know in the comment section what y'all think of this one. Combo Breaker 99. Make sure y'all subscribe, hit the like button. I'm out. Peace.